The Cabazon Dinosaurs is a roadside attraction in Cabazon, California, featuring two enormous dinosaurs that opened in 1964. Claude Bell began his artistic career as a teenager sculpting teddy bears in the sand on the beach at Atlantic City, New Jersey, in front of a wooden building that was shaped like an elephant called Lucy. Tips from passerbys encouraged him, and before long he was making a living with his sand sculptures at state and county fairs across the country. He worked at the New Jersey amusement attraction as a teenager, drawing figures in sand for the nickels people would toss him. As a young adult, Bell spent his time working on the beaches of New Jersey. His sand creations gained so much popularity that he was invited to compete in festivals all around the continent. However, he soon grew tired of watching the elements wreck his work. He then sought to create something that nothing, especially not a bit of rain or wind, could destroy. Bell's father was a glassblower on the boardwalk, and it wasn't long before I was making more money than my old man. In 1947, Bell moved out to California, where Walter Knott hired him to create concrete sculptures of figures sitting on benches at Knott's Berry Farm, as well as building the statues in Ghost Town. Years later, he would create the huge Minuteman that stands outside Independence Hall there, and later operated the portrait studio at Knott's from 1951 to 1986. A year prior, in 1946, Claude purchased a vacant site in an area known as Cabazon for $5,000. The land was leveled for him free of charge as part of an agreement to let the state remove the gravel for development of an overpass over the 10 freeway, which led to Palm Springs and on to Arizona. Bell began living part-time on the land in 1952 and opened the Wheel Inn there in 1958. Inspired by his time and childhood in Atlantic City, where he saw Lucy, a building that was shaped like the elephant, Bell wanted to bring more traffic to his restaurant. He began construction of the dinosaurs in 1964 with the goal of attracting more traveling customers to his nearby restaurant, the Wheel Inn. Steel and cement for the project were salvaged from the freeway after a flash flood rendered them unusable for official state construction. Bell was allowed to remove the material in exchange for clearing them from state property. Nicknamed Dinny, the first of the Cabazon Dinosaurs was started in 1964 and created over a span of 11 years. Bell created Dinny out of spare material salvaged from the construction of nearby Interstate 10 at a cost of $300,000. The biomorphic building that was to become Dinny was first erected as a steel framework over which an expanded metal grid was formed in the shape of a dinosaur. All of it was then covered with coats of shotcrete, which was spray concrete. So with the help of only a few friends, without contractors or a proper construction company, he spent the next 11 years completing Dinny, which weighs over 150 tons. Although Dinny cost roughly $300,000 to build, its exterior was purportedly painted by Bell's friend in exchange for only $1 and a case of Dr. Pepper. Bell was quoted in 1970 as saying the 45-foot high, 150-foot long Dinny was the first dinosaur in history, so far as I know, to be used as a building. His original vision for Dinny was for the dinosaur's eyes to glow and the mouth to spit fire at night. These two features, however, were not added. Dinny was completed in 1975. A second dinosaur, Mr. Rex, was constructed near Dinny in 1981. Bell used his own special machinery, steel blenders, an elevator out of an old truck, stuff like that to get started. Scaffolding for the second structure stretched as high as 60 feet and could be seen to the north of Dinny by November of 1980. A year later, the structure and wire frame was complete and ready for cement. The Tyrannosaurus Rex sculpture was designed with a channel in the tail so as to incorporate a slide. However, by 1986, Bell was concerned the incline would be too steep to use safely. The giant slide was later filled in with concrete, making the slide unusable. Mr. Rex weighs over 100 tons. Claude Bell envisioned his own theme park. When motorists get off the freeway, they can enter the dinosaur by way of a door near the tail, climb up a flight of stairs, and find themselves in the middle of Dinny's belly. Bell spent more than 2 decades creating the giant creatures on an otherwise desolate stretch of Interstate 10 near Palm Springs. The dinosaurs, a 150-ton concrete apatosaurus named Dinny and a 100-ton Tyrannosaurus named Rex, can be seen for miles by travelers on the desert route between Phoenix and Los Angeles. The Cabazon Dinosaurs made their first Hollywood appearance in the credits in 1983's National Lampoon's Vacation, starring Chevy Chase. The roadside dinosaurs are best known for their appearance in the films Pee-wee's Big Adventure in 1985. Pee-wee Herman and Mr. Rex were featured in a pivotal scene in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. The movie was director Tim Burton's debut. British band's Tears for Fears' 1985 music video, Everybody Wants to Rule the World, with Dinny the dinosaur and Rex in the background, the music featured numerous Southern California locales, including the Salton Sea. Claude Bell continued to create, drafting plans for a woolly mammoth and a saber-toothed tiger, and a prehistoric garden were drafted but never completed due to Bell's death in 1988. After Bell's death, the property was sold to a local land developer who, with the help of a fundamentalist Christian group, had used Dinny and Mr. Rex to spread the message of creationism and transform the dinosaurs from a tourist spot to a place of worship. The dinosaurs appeared near the end of the 1989 film The Wizard, featuring Fred Savage. This included a scene inside of Dinny. The plot is about a boy and his brother who run away from home and hitchhike across the country with the help of a girl they meet to compete in the Ultimate Video Game Championship. In 1995, the property had been purchased by Gary Cantor of Minkoff and Cantor Associates. MKA Partnership obtained approval for an expansion of the Cabazon Dinosaur site in 1996, with the land use approvals including restaurants, a museum and gift shop, and a 60-room motel at the Main Street exit in Cabazon. The new ownership turned the attraction into a roadside creationist museum in 2005, but the creationist material has since been removed. The current owner, Denise Cantor, likes to paint the dinosaurs in bright, whimsical colors, and for select holidays. Mr. Rex even sported a Santa Claus suit for Christmas. If you were wondering, the nearby Wheel Inn, owned by Carol and Marie Cothra since 1993, closed in September of 2013 and was bulldozed in 2016. All that remains is the iconic Eat road sign. Following the death of Pee-wee Herman's portrayer, Paul Rubens, in 2023, Mr. Rex was temporarily repainted to feature the character's famous gray tuxedo with red bow tie. Fans of Pee-wee Herman on that sad day left flowers at Mr. Rex's feet and a note saying, "Tell him Large Marge sent ya." A day after Paul Rubens passed away, I heard on the news of his passing and how the Cabazon Dinosaurs made a tribute of him by repainting Mr. Rex to look like Pee-wee Herman. Since I pass by there often, I decided to stop by there. When I had stopped by, there were a lot of fans there to pay tribute to him in their own separate ways. A superfan of mine named Juan Serrano will probably ask me, how many times have you been there? Well, my answer is that I pass by this place over 100 times a year. I stop by about 4 times a year, so that I can take a picture of the new paint job of Mr. Rex and Dina. So if you're curious to see what it is like to go into the belly of the beast, aka Dina, let's take a look. The entrance of Dina is found at the base of the tail, with a stairway that goes up to the belly or gift shop. Lining the walls are small sculptures of dinosaurs, perhaps made by Claude or just models depicting dinosaurs. There is a section at the base of the stairway that has newspaper articles and clippings of Claude. It is very informative, tracing back the history to when he made them. If you look closely at the green handrails, you will notice that it was the old metal rebar used in the construction of the freeway that Bell recycled and used in his roadside attraction. I was also amazed at the level of detail that Claude used inside of Dina. The walls and ceilings were molded to look like the inside of a cave. There are windows inside, more like portholes. The merchandise in the gift shops is typical of what you would find in any tourist trap found throughout the country. Apparently stuffed animals, or plush as they call it, must be the biggest sellers here. I understand that in today's society, crime and shoplifting is an ongoing problem in retail, but I couldn't help but notice the amount of video cameras surveilling the store. I swear it seemed like there were more cameras in here than a bank. As much as I'd like to gripe about this, I still find this roadside attraction very charming, and I would recommend stopping by and visiting this place. The owners literally paint the dinosaurs often with different color schemes, sometimes promoting the holidays, others to promote California, but never try to paint the dinosaurs to be realistic like it was before, and that's fine with me. That's why it makes this stop so California. Today, the Cabazon Dinosaur bills itself as one of the most iconic roadside attractions. The dinosaurs change color schemes every few months, usually for Valentine's Day, Halloween, and Christmas. According to the dinosaur's website, over 12 million people drive by them every year. Dinny contains a staircase up the tail into the body of the Apatosaurus, which doubles as a store and small museum. It is free to visit, but it's $13 to enter the Dino Park and climb up the T-Rex. Cabazon Dinosaurs have been the site of a museum and a gift shop, in addition to being a unique photo op for thousands of curious passerbys. Thank you for watching. If you like this content, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Thanks.